heavens above, and I believe in truth. I believe in the love we have, because I believe in you. So tell me, do you feel the way that I feel? And tell me, would you give what I'm willing to give? And I believe in honesty, and I believe it's true, and I believe if you set it free, it will come back to you. And I believe that things were meant to really be, and I believe in the love we have, because I believe in you.
All right, welcome everybody to IQ Cancer. What a beautiful Saturday afternoon. It is here in sunny Southern California anyway, with the exception of those chemtrails out there. I guess they don't know this is my sun tanning day, chemtrail flyer people. Oh my God. It's like I'm trying to get my vitamin D. Don't they know that? Anyway, is my beautiful guest, host Cynthia, Cynthia Brooks here today?
Yeah, hi.
Hi, Cynthia. Can you tell I'm excited?
Yeah, what's going on?
Well, I'm on my ball. I'm on my yoga ball bouncing thing at my desk. It's for my back and my stabilizer muscles and all that stuff. So I'm feeling pretty good.
Oh my goodness! You know what? I researched something, and I keep needing to forget. I keep forgetting to tell you. But a lot of people, like 98% success. If you're having any kind of muscle spasms, not a cramp, but a spasms, like your back spasms, have you heard of this one? A teaspoon or a tablespoon, I believe, of yellow mustard.
No.
And it stops it. It stops
No
it.
kidding.
Yeah, they say it stops it within like 3 minutes.
You're talking like a cramp?
No,
Muscle cramp?
spasm. No,
Spasm. Huh, that's interesting. Well, that's good. I'll have to try that next time that happens.
Yeah, because a number of times I've been talking to you on the phone and you start screaming. I'm like, what's going on? And you're like, I'm having back spasms. So I did some research and I thought it was really interesting.
Oh, right on. Oh, that just made me think of something I've been dying to ask you. I just sent my good friend Wendy Keith Slater, I think her name is, one of my Facebook friends, Tagament. Because you and I always talk about Tagament and the shark liver oil. And, she's a good friend. She's been trying all different kinds of alternatives and she's doing pretty good, but I thought I'd send her some of the moringa, powder that my man Eric Plott sent me, and I sent her the Tagament and the shark liver oil, and I can't remember the dosage, and I know you're the one that told me about that. So hopefully she's listening. If not, I'm going to make a note and send it. But what was that dosage? Do you remember? For Tagament?
Gosh, yes. Yeah, and also, in that article that I sent you, there's dosages in there as well, the Tagament article that I sent you.
Okay. Yeah, so I haven't seen that lately, but
yeah, there's two. I can repost it on Facebook too. There's cool. 2 different. Well, does she have? What is her challenge? Is it leukemia?
No, I don't think so. And that's the problem. I can't even remember right now because I have so many people I deal with. It may even have been like a breast cancer that's sort of gone to all different things and stuff. So
okay, yeah. Well, I would have to know what the challenge is to provide the dosage on that. Tagament, the protocol that I invented, the Tagament and shark liver oil is specifically for leukemia.
Okay, leukemia.
Yeah, but however, the Tagament helps everything because it boosts your immune system. And again, it is one of the few things that can combat some specific viruses that operate in a specific way. Shingles, herpes, chickenpox, all of those viruses attack in a very specific way. And because of the H2 receptors in Tagamet, they can combat them and win. So because the jury's still out on are all cancers spurned from a virus, and like I said, you know, all the scientists that we've been talking to, the jury's kind of out on that. Doesn't matter, you know, doesn't matter, but we know a lot of cancers are, you know, conducted by a virus. And maybe
and Candida even, and all the different so that's what I was thinking. But I don't think she has any of that, but I figured she's been trying so many different things it can't hurt, right?
Well, definitely. This is what a lot of people aren't understanding, is that by the time you have cancer, you're dealing with many different issues on many different levels. But one of them is that, you know, of course your immune system has taken a huge hit. And when that happens, a lot of viruses that we're born with that just hide out in the connective tissue, and then when the immune system takes a hit, then those come out as well. So even if, point being, even say if she does have cancer that has not been conducted by a virus, she probably has some viral infections going on as well that are usually undetected by Western medicine or misdiagnosed. So all that to say, the Tagamet can only help.
Right. Right. Exactly.
And normally the two basic dosages, one is 3 in the morning and then 2 at bedtime. But the leukemia patients are having better success with 2 in the morning, 2 in the afternoon, or early evening, and 2 at bedtime. And continue that for only 3 days, and then check in with yourself and see how you're feeling. And, you know, you can determine whether you need to continue with that or not. And not to worry, because even though the box says, you know, only take 1 because they're 200 milligrams, if you were admitted into the hospital for whatever reason, they would be giving you 900 milligrams anyway. And then once again, I say this with everything, gotta say it. If it's your first time taking anything, specifically if it's Tagamet, just bite off the little edge of it. Don't even get a quarter in your mouth, like a quarter of the pill, and, you know, let it rest for the day and see how your body acclimates to it. I say that with everything because everybody's different, and everybody, you know what I mean, has different reactions to anything.
Yeah, and we are just saying this is what we would do. You know, I don't know if we're allowed to really tell anybody what to do, and we never do. I never want you to do anything I say. I want you to challenge me. Like I did Cynthia. When she told me she cured herself of cancer, I was like, yeah, right, whatever. And then I went into pretty deep research for quite some time. And then I ended up with a movie called I Cured Cancer thanks to it. But yeah, challenge everything you hear and make sure it's right. And if it resonates with you, go for it, because it worked for Cynthia. It's worked for many people. Oh, and if I may, before we get into the show, and cause you almost I felt like you're kind of calling me on something today, cause you are a real cancer curer, as I call them. You cured yourself. I just put up a post and I missed one little word. I missed one word. I should have said, I think I cured myself of cancer, because I never went and got actually tested. So I did change that. I went and edited. I said, I think I cured myself of cancer, folks. Cause what I was trying to say is my pH was 5 for over 6 months, as most people know that listen to the show. And my prostate numbers were high, and I couldn't, when I had to pee, look out, I was knocking over old ladies to get the bathrooms, you know, almost. That's how bad it was. So, and then it dawned on me when somebody was interviewing me the other day. Actually, it was our friend, Organic Guru Lynette, was interviewing me and said that, you know, how did you cure yourself of cancer? And I was about to say, I never had cancer. What are you talking about? And I thought, wait a minute. I had my pH for 5 for 6 months. If anybody else came to me with that, I would assume they had cancer. Just you have to assume the worst.
Yeah, know, I kind of, because you've talked about this, you've said this many times, and about. Well,
I just want people to check their pH level, and if it is below 6, down to 5.5 or 5, you know, bring it back up with an alkaline diet, and that way you're out of the danger zone and you don't have to worry about getting cancer. So my point is an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure.
Yeah, I understand. I just want to put this to bed, because and it's okay if you don't agree with my truth, and that's really fine. But being a cancer survivor is a very different thing. And I know all my cancer, especially my terminals out there. I just met another one on Vincent's show. She was diagnosed with terminal cancer, as I was. We say we're going to start a terminal club. It's a very different experience, and you just don't know what it is until you really experience it, until that pathology report comes back and the noose is hung around your neck. So it's a very, very hard if you have never been diagnosed with cancer. It's a hard thing to understand. And you can hear, like, I'm emotional. I'm still emotional about it. It's difficult to understand, and yet it really should not be speculated like that. And in a sense, it's a very strange thing. But my bottom line is that, because I too, after I had cancer, years after I had cancer, I went and got the test strips, and I was like below 5, and I didn't have cancer. So at that point, I did not have cancer. So there are so many elements that have to come into play for the cancer cells to start developing. It's not just physiological. It's not just psychological. It's so many conditions, emotionally, spiritually, that have to come into play before the cancer cell is actually made. The reason I want to be crystal clear on this, and the reason I'm sure I'm being a pain in the butt on this, is because I don't want people to get scared. I don't want people running to the store, doing a pH strip test, having it at a 5 and panicking, going, oh my God, I have cancer, because that is horrible. I've been through that.
Yeah. Thanks for bringing that up too. Yes.
Horrible.
I did it myself. I was guilty of myself. Here I am, the teacher, and I remember I tested my pH for the first time in a long time. Oh wait, I was right. This is when it happened. And it was 5. That's what happened. Then I went into denial. It was 5, and it stayed 5 for 6 months. I was in denial about it. That's when you should be worried, folks. If you test it once, yeah, but make sure you do an average every week, because it's very fickle. It's up and down, and you should do it first thing in the morning and under your tongue. And it's still not the end all to be all. We're finding out that people have pHs of 10, and that means, and they have the blood cancers, which is too high. So the point is you want a balanced pH, which is 7.2 or 7.4, as Dr. Bernard always said.
Well, also, if you do test a 5 or a 10, do not worry. Worry is
Right.
the invitation. You said, get worried. Don't get worried. I'm sorry to contradict, but don't worry, because that's the invitation. Worry is the invitation of any unwanted manifestation, whether inside the body or outside, to manifest. Don't panic. Don't worry.
That's right.
Keep testing yourself again. Incorporate more juices, fruits and vegetables, things like that, because you can test actually, and I know this because it happened to my mother. She tested at a 5, and with a test strip on her, and all she had was candida in her mouth. No cancer, no nothing. And that was like 15 years ago. So clearly, she didn't have cancer. Or if she does, it's a very slow moving one. She does it. She's gotten her physicals and whatnot. So, you know what I'm saying? If you're not feeling well, if you're testing at 5s, things like that, it's not just about the diet. Take a look at your whole life. What's going on emotionally? What's going on mentally, what's going on in your environment around you, all of those things, and treat it as a gift. If you tested a 5, thank you. I need to take a look at something. And what you're going to end up doing is creating a much happier life for yourself. So it's all good news.
Absolutely.
And,
that's so awesome. You just taught me again, Cynthia, that there's a difference, folks, between the black belt instructor and the sort of brown belt instructor. I'm still brown belt. I'm like, if it's not perfect, then you're just screwed. And Cynthia's like, no, breathe, everything.
Yeah.
So thank you for keeping me calm.
Yeah. And I just want to say, I've said it a million times, I'll say it again. Cancer was the best thing that ever happened to me. I don't know if I'd even be alive if, that cancer diagnosis didn't come rolling in. I would have died from something else. I was really not a happy person, very unhappy with myself, constantly beating myself up, didn't like myself. And on the outside, you know what I mean? I'm on Days of Our Lives, and money's rolling in, and boyfriends are rolling in, and it all looks so pretty, and I was absolutely freaking, miserable. So it was a great wake-up call. And just to quote, I believe it's Emerson, on the whole cancer subject, he said on any topic, once you look at things differently, those things begin to change. Once you change the way you look at something, the thing that you're looking at begins to change. Meaning, you just flip the frequency, you can turn any negative into a positive. And so, you know what I mean? If again, hopefully we put this to rest about the test strips being at 5, say thank you. Thank you. It's a nice little wake up call. Something's not operating right. Which actually, again, and then I'm going to shut up, but that's one of the problems. It sounds like a criticism, and I don't mean to criticize, but that's one of the problems I have with Western medicine, is only because they have all of these really extensive tests, and yet they invalidate themselves because the cancer was first discovered in my uterus, but we don't know for sure, where it started. I'm thinking it did because it's second chakra, but my pap smears were not coming back perfectly. And the doctors are like, oh, it's no big deal. Oh, they're a little bit off. Well, no, that's an indicator something's going on energetic wise in my body, So I like that they were like, don't worry about it, but really, and they've done this so many times. So someone's got like this has happened thousands of times. Somebody's got like a tricky pap smear or a tricky test. And instead of the doctor is saying, okay, let's eat more fruits and vegetables. Let's take a look at your life. What's going on here? There's an imbalance, and they just slough it off, and then the patient comes back with stage 4 6 months later. Do you see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So again, I'm going to shut up, but just take it, as a reminder to take a look at what's going on. Yeah.
Yeah. And the thing, there was one little discrepancy a while ago. A couple of guys put a video up saying that this whole pH thing was garbage, that we shouldn't worry about it. And I'm like, wait a minute, Dr. Bernardo is a hands-on guy and I'm a hands-on guy. And I just watched him cure so many people, and they all did it by taking their pH from 5 and getting it up to 7.2, and they watched it with pH strips. So was that a fluke that every single one that I've ever seen cure themselves of cancer went from 5 to 7.2, 7.4? And I guess, it's such an abnormality to see somebody with a blood cancer where their pH is 10 or 9 or whatever. I don't think I've actually seen that myself. I may have heard one or two people, but in general, it's just, that's it, folks. If your pH is low, get it up. Now, here's my point though. Forget about the pH strips if you want. Here's how you get it up. Eat greens. Eat cruciferous greens. Do green smoothies. Drop all sugar, and processed foods and stuff. Basically, Google alkaline diet. Get yourself alkaline. You don't even need those strips for a guideline. If you eat what you're supposed to eat, you'll become alkaline. You'll become healthy. Everybody that I've known try that, and I've tried that myself, and it's true. So that's the key. Whether you want the strips or not, I like them because it's a nice little guide. So anyway, right. So we got that out of the way.
Oh yeah, and so I wanted to tell you a little bit more about the special that I'm running, and you all people who are listening, you kind of just heard what goes on. People call me a lot for counseling sessions, and whether it be body, mind, spirit, all of the above, just to listen to my experience of curing myself of cancer.
And let me tell them for you. People call her to the hospital when their loved one's on their deathbed because Cynthia's really good energy healer. And I can't even say enough about it. Just so you know, those are the kind of people you need help. You want some counseling, no matter what stage of disease you're in. I'd highly recommend having a conversation with Cynthia. So go ahead.
Aw, thank you, Ian. You're being so nice to me, and I'm beating up on you today.
Well, hey, it's all good, though. That's how I get better.
I hate to interrupt, but your guest is on the line now.
Okay, wonderful. We'll bring him in 1 second, okay? Let's just finish off with Cynthia's little thing here, and then we'll jump in with Dr. Joe Casper in a minute. Okay, go ahead, Cynthia.
Yeah. Thank you, Ian. Yeah. Well, one of my esteemed teachers inspired me to do this, to run like a little special. So for the next 2 weeks, or if, all of the time slots get taken up, whichever comes first, I'm just going to drop the pricing on it just so everybody can get a flavor. And also just to promote my charity, because I do still have my charity up and running, to assist its financial aid for people who want to cure themselves of any disease with alternative medicine. And so the pricing has come down. If it's, a half-hour session, it's $25. An hour session is $50. And either I call you, you call me, we can work all that out and do a counseling session. Just because there's been so much asking for it, and over the phone counseling or Skype, because there's been such a desire for it, I decided to go ahead and try this out for a couple of weeks. I've done this before and got so overloaded. So hopefully this time it'll be smoothed out, and you can contact me on Facebook or through IanIcureCancer.com or Ian Jacqueline's page or my page and my House of Healing page on Facebook. It's weird. It's backwards. Sometimes it's J. Cynthia Brooks House of Healing, and then sometimes it's House of Healing J. Cynthia Brooks. I don't know why Facebook does that, but you can always contact me there.
Right on. Cool. All right. Well, let's see. Dr. Joe Casper, are you there?
I am here, live and well.
Right on, Joe. Thanks for coming in with us last minute like this.
Thank you.
This is
You're
Cynthia,
welcome.
my co-host. She cured herself of cancer, 17 years ago, and that's why I made the movie I Cure Cancer. So she's going to be with us today.
Excellent.
Yeah. So tell us a bit about yourself. We're going to be speaking at Organic Lynette's, event in April. Yeah. That's how you and I got connected. So tell us a bit about yourself. You've got the website fireyourdiet.com, which I love because most people would have to do that. So how did you, what are you doing and how did you get to doing what you are doing?
Well, it's been a long journey. I guess I'll start this way. I'm one of those guys who, I'm proud to say this, I'm psychologically unemployable, which is actually, yeah, it's true. It's very, very true. And I've had 21 jobs. I've been fired 19 times. The amazing part of that is I don't know how I survived the other two and not getting fired.
I'm connecting with you for some reason on this, resonating just a wee bit.
Yes, thank you. So when you go to the beat of your own drum and you know things are right and you don't want to follow tradition that you know is wrong, you have two choices. You can just suck it up and be like most people, which is nothing wrong with that, and just kind of be that kind of person. I'm not. And I really despise the notion of having someone tell me what to do who doesn't have my knowledge. And it's kind of interesting. Somebody asked me this on a Facebook question, because a lot of people know my my mother works for me now part-time. She's a recovering bank teller and bookkeeper. And they go, do you ever boss her around? And my answer was never, for two reasons. First reason is when I had a boss, I completely hated with a passion the approach of putting people down. And I vowed one day, I said, when I own something, I'm never going to treat people that way.
Yeah.
And to this day, people work for me, web people and people who do blood testing for me, all these things. I still don't do that. And the second part is if I bossed my mother around, I would get my teeth knocked out still. All true facts. So, if you really want to change the world, Ian, as you know, and Cindy, you have to, you got to do it you got to own something. You got to have some kind of power. And you're not going to get it by a regular job. It's not going to happen. So if you're a nutritionist, which I am now, I used to be an exercise physiologist, I was a phys ed teacher, all these things. If I want power to change things, which I know in my heart of hearts, I'm not going through the litigations and the board of directors and all these parasites, and I use that word appropriately here, because it's not going to happen and I'm going to be frustrated. But when you own something and you have power and you don't abuse it, and you have a say on how you coach your clients, how they can be better, you know what you're doing, and they feed off your energy, there's nothing better. Nothing better.
Absolutely. Right on. So
this is how this whole thing, got me involved with this. I used to be a pro baseball player. I mean, I had a lot of things happen to me that have brought me to the place I'm at now, and it's really a blessing. And I sometimes I take a look and I go, wow, was it worth all the pain? And the answer is, I don't know, because this is a journey that happened. So, just like, you guys with your cancer, someone say, well, wouldn't it be better if you never had it? Yeah, but who would you be if you never had it? Right.
Now, so you started out, what kind of baseball were you playing? Where were you?
I played baseball in California, and I played overseas in Australia. It was a long, long time ago.
Okay.
But the opportunity that I had, and I took it. I went to college for a long time. I got 4 degrees. Now, it's interesting to hear this from a guy with a bunch of degrees. I'm the first person to say a lot of people don't need a degree, and I have a lot of them. It's interesting because most people who are highly educated don't say that. I'm saying it. In this world, if you got power and talents and skills, and listen, there are 16-year-old kids out there who invent things, who maybe don't need to go to college. Maybe, you know what, maybe they want to invent something and not have to have that situation. So I don't think school's for everyone. I really don't. I think it's another way for a lot of people to get into debt and cause people to have jobs as well.
Right. Now let's get into, so obviously you came from an athletic background and then you decided to focus in on nutrition. Is that of all your degree, what are your degrees and what is your favorite? What are you using the most?
Okay. Well, I'll explain that. My undergrad is in exercise physiology. I also have a master's in education as a teacher, special populations, PhD in nutrition. I publish books, all these things, but any of those things to me really don't matter as much as how do you connect with people? Because I have flat out told some doctors, you know, listen, you have no personality. You should be working in the lab with the rats because you cannot connect with people. And I've said it. I have said it. Because you got to be able to connect.
Some
with
of them don't have the best bedside manners to begin with, right?
We're humans. Guess what? That's what it's about. And I mean, think about this. Imagine like if I was in a hospital and somebody's ill and the medical doctor is telling me, okay, here's a nutrition plan to put together for the patient. I'd be like, no, you're dead wrong. And if I don't listen, I'm fired. That's it. End of discussion.
Right. So what are your, can you tell us what your beliefs are in diet and nutrition? Where are you going with yours? Are you into the alkaline, the vegan? What do you like?
All of them, all the above. Let me explain why. First of all, let me tell you what a diet stands for, guys. Diet stands for depression, insecurity, emotional trauma. It's a victim club. Weight Watchers is a scam. Jenny Craig is a scam. Nutrisystem, doctors, whatever, all these programs. Let me explain why. Mm-hmm. First of all, they're mentally exhausting. You can't keep counting points and calories forever because that won't last. But they're not made to fit into day-to-day operations. In other words, when someone says, I'm going to lose a lot of weight, I go, great. What happens when you gain it back? And they go, oh, I never thought of that. Well, I have. I would rather a person be 20 pounds overweight their entire life than go up and down, up and down, up and down.
Right.
Why is that?
Why do I believe in that?
Yeah. No, I was just curious. What do you think that's harder on the body for the weight?
Oh, yeah. Sure it is, because think about this. Your body's at a certain weight, okay? And then you lose a lot of it quickly, which it took a long time to get fat, and you lose it quickly. It's going to come back with vengeance, okay? And the up and down, up and down, up and down is going to cause more stress in the heart and your organs. But no one tells you that. And all you got to do is every year during fat season, and fat season goes from September to December. The bulk of fat season is December because it's football playoffs, it's parties, Christmas, Hanukkah, Festivus, Kwanzaa, whatever you celebrate. And so what happens is people put on 4 to 5 pounds at least every year. You do that for a couple of years, you're obese.
Yeah, happened to me.
You're obese. Yeah, it doesn't happen yet, but no offense to you, Ian. That's a choice that you made. You made that choice, my friend.
Oh, I know.
And the reason
people... I wouldn't call Ian, you were never obese, Ian.
You don't think? Oh, well, thank you. Well, I thought, to me, 40 pounds overweight is obese, so I did that.
Well,
and,
if you're 4'11", maybe, but what are you, 7'2" or whatever? You're giant. And, I mean, I didn't even notice, the weight.
Well, I'm lucky. I can put on 40 pounds and hide it real well, but not on the beach. And so now
I understand.
But he's right about how it slowly, he's right about how it slowly catches up to you once you hit your 40s and stuff. Next thing you know, like I used to be a 32 or a 30 when I was a kid, and all of a sudden I'm a 40. And that was the first thing I took a picture of when I lost it. And I hear what you're saying about the diets, man. And what I did is I didn't do a diet either. I just started eating stuff that God made only. Took all the other stuff out. Yeah.
But here's a reality, okay? Mm-hmm. If you're active your whole life and eat fairly well, and all of a sudden you're not active, you're not eating as well, why would you be shocked that you didn't put on the weight? That's when people are like, I can't believe this happened. Well, look at your lifestyle. And people choose a certain lifestyle, just like they choose a job. When someone says, I'm stuck in this job and I'm stuck in this bad marriage or these bad friendships. Listen, let's look at this deep, guys. People have toxic jobs and toxic friends and toxic relatives and live in a toxic environment. Most of them choose that. And the number one reason that I find why people don't change is not the taste of healthy food. It's not the don't want to exercise. You know what it really is deep down? When I tell you, you're going to freak out, but it's going to make complete sense. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They want to fit in socially because they don't want to be a leper. Because think about this. Let's say in a family, everyone's poor. Somebody wins the lotto. That guy who wins the lotto is going to be the most hated and the most loved person in that family at that point. Because, and here's what's going to happen. He has to give to them because he's hated. Now, if he doesn't give exactly even, he's going to be, you know, they're going to keep score of him. Same with healthy. So if you're in a family of a bunch of people who are overweight and don't care about health, and you're a model, Cindy, your family hates you because you know women never stab in the back. We know that, right? Never happens.
Never.
Right. And the same thing with money looks. That's how it works. If you're different now, if your family all is a bunch of healthy people, great. But people want to fit in. I can tell you right now, most of my family cannot stand me. I'll say flat out. Cannot stand me except for my mother and aunt or whatever, but I'm not well liked. And the reason, very simple, is I live a healthy lifestyle. I'm an entrepreneur. I'm an author. I'm doing all these things. So now it's kind of like the nerve of you, Joe, to be different. Okay? Now, when I first started bothering me, but you know what? It's their loss. That's the way it is. Most people who are entrepreneurs or live a healthy life, think about this. If you're in society and you're really in shape, and I'm 47, and you're my age, first thing you're going to say is, and if you have muscle, you're on steroids. Or what's wrong with you? Or, you know, so have a hot dog. I haven't had a hot dog since 1983. Why? Because I puked in high school gym class, and I thought this is disgusting. I'll never have one again. So I made a decision back then at 16, never to have one again, and I never have. Now, guess what? That's just me telling myself something, and I never did. But when you make choices, you can change. Change is so tough. So when you get healthy and you have whiny, bitchy friends, you have to get rid of them. That's the toughest thing. That is the number one toughest obstacle. Does that make sense, guys?
Yeah, I'm really loving this. I do have a question about that too. So in your opinion, say someone comes to you for, you know, a coaching session, a healing session, whatnot, and say financially, because that was so interesting what you said about poor people, and then someone wins the lotto. What would be, say, their first step? Because if the first step is don't ever talk to your friends and family again, is that your advice?
No. First of all, it's no one size fits all. First of all, if somebody buys a coaching package, I'm doing their blood first, my way. If they don't want to do my blood test, go somewhere else. I'm not gonna coach you. So when it comes to my program, it's my way. So you can't buy a package of coaching sessions with me without me doing your blood under a microscope. Not gonna happen.
Right.
Now I've done a session here or there. That's fine with someone, but the problem with healthcare or any stuff all of us do is there's no one size fits all. So when some herbalist says this vitamin is the greatest thing, they're full of crap because every person's different. And I will go on any panel and I will go toe to toe with them. And they can bring out all their studies they want. And because I publish stuff too, so I know how that works too. So I will go toe to toe with them and they will lose. I promise they will lose.
Absolutely.
Because
I couldn't agree more.
Everything has to be individualized.
Yeah.
So now, even at retreat centers, in my retreat center, I only see 1 or 2 people at a time because I don't want 30 people because there's 30 different people with 30 different needs and different personalities. So when a person leaves my center, I don't want them going home not be able to do things. Most retreats are great, and I can name a ton of them. The problem is the follow-up is no good because they got to go back to real life. Right. And in order to follow a lot of these programs, and they're wonderful, I've been to these places, they're fantastic, is if you have a regular job with a regular family, never going to happen. Something's going to give. Now, there are a couple of people who promote, raw food, and they're great, but most of those are trust fund babies. They are. I know some of these girls, they're trust fund babies. So they can sit here and say, oh, meet me in Costa Rica and let's have fun. Sure you can. You got $10 million in the bank. The grandpa left you. It's very easy. Very easy. But they didn't do anything wrong, Cindy, but this is a fact of life. There's so many great programs. But the body's always changing, and also everyone's lives are different. Right. If you're a single 30-year-old person with a pile of money, yeah, you can try all these things. It is fun. I agree. But for the regular person who has a wife and kids, or who has some kind of responsibility, most of these programs fail. Does that make sense, guys?
Absolutely. They go right back to their toxic environment. I don't know. I don't know. I was speaking at this at the top of the show, and I don't know if you heard that, but that was the thing, is that when I had cancer, and I'm interested about your blood analyzing too, because I did have my blood analyzed as well. And the wonderful, wonderful physicist who did that, he was like, Cynthia, I'm looking at you don't even have to tell me, I'm looking at your blood and I can see, it's very taxed, and I know you're sick. Well, but what I just want to say is that, and again, my charity, that's what my charity is all about, is to help people, not just through recovery financially, but after that. I didn't have the money to go to any center or anything like that, but yet I knew enough that my environment was toxic. So what I did was I removed myself, in a sense, from my own environment, and meaning everything, like not watching the television, only I was big on the comedy because I had read about that senator who cured himself of lung cancer using comedy. So I had to create my all new environment with only watching, in those days it was videotapes, comedy, only listening to in the car, Deepak Chopra or Tony Robbins or whoever, positive messages. I went to that degree. And I had a couple of roommates at the time too, and they said, can we talk to Cynthia now or not? They were very, very wonderful, and oddly enough, they were so new to this, but they understood what I was trying to create. And I've always had the dream of opening a healing center, but you're right. They easily can come to the center and heal, but then when they go home, right back into that environment. And so you're just speaking to my heart. I love everything you're saying.
Thank you.
Yeah. And I have a couple questions that you can get to later. I'm just curious again where your healing center is. But before that, I guess they come to your center, and I'm fascinated. Now, what do you tell them when it's time to go and they're healed? How do you help them understand, and what actions to take to not get back into that?
Well, first of all, nobody has 100% perfection rate. Nobody on the planet.
Right.
Number one. While they're with me, they're going to learn things that they can take back. For example, let's say somebody comes to me, I have someone coming in a few weeks, and I know this guy will never, ever, example, put a garden in his backyard. Well, I'm not going to have him on the property learning how to garden and grow stuff, because he'll never do it. That's a waste of a session. Now, there are retreats that is part of your, you're there for a week or so, and they teach you how to plant and make vegetables, which is great. Well, why take that course if you're never going to use it? You see my point?
Oh, yeah.
So, I love all these things, but the point is, so you got a person who lives in an apartment in Brooklyn who's never going to grow a garden. Why take a 2-hour course if it's never going to happen? So I go through with a person, what is their life like? How's their lifestyle? What's their business? What's their family like? What's their whole dynamic? And then we create it so when they go home, it's realistic to fit in.
Perfect.
That's what you have to do. And places don't do that. Now, it doesn't mean they do a bad job, not at all, but they're doing what they know, and that's fine. But I figured out I want to be different, and I want to give people attention, and I want to work with them in the areas where they have issues. So, I'm an exercise physiologist by trade, so if someone comes here with muscle problems or exercise issues, I got that handled easily, and I can fix any part of the body. So we can do that. I can teach them the right exercises, the right equipment. All these things are piece of cake. Example, I have someone coming who had a stroke. Well, guess what? The person loves the water. We're going to be spending a lot of time doing aquatherapy because that's relevant. Another person says, I'm never going in the water. That's not part of your program. And this is some of the things that people have to understand with the person and who they are. There's some people you need to spend more time on counseling with them. In other words, they have emotional baggage that is insane, and they need 4 hours a day of counseling, and they need to cry every second. You got to be ready for that.
Right.
Or maybe the person doesn't. They say, listen, I don't care. I'm not doing a colonic. I know I need it, but I will never do it. I can't force them to do it.
Right.
Really. Or the person says, listen, I'm going to eat tons of meat. I don't care. Well, great. And when you come here, guess what? You're going to learn how to make elk and buffalo and venison because you're going to eat meat. Great. And the next person, I'm a vegan. You ain't going to go near that. That's chef. Or the person, I'm a raw foodist. Good, we get the raw foodist working with you. Or maybe you want all three. I give every option available because I learn what other people do. It works for some people. It doesn't work for others. And I learned that in all my years. And that's what you got to do. You got to customize it. You have to customize everything.
That's fantastic.
Now,
I love that.
Would you
so many times people have asked me for, and shockingly, some of the people that came from, Cynthia, exactly what did you do? Like, what are the exact supplements, diet, all the things that you did? What exactly is that? And I'll never give that up. And somebody coined it the formula, and that wasn't me, but I'll never give it up because it's always going to be, I always make suggestions, but it's always going to be different for another person. So even if even if my sister, who's closest in the DNA, she had the exact same cancer that I had, she could do my entire regimen that I did, and it might not work for her.
Correct. And then you mentioned, about supplements. Now, here's another thing most people don't know is 99% of supplements are not that good, even the organic ones on the shelves at Whole Foods, because what I have done is when someone gets supplements from me with my picture on the bottle, those supplements aren't made until a phone call goes or an email goes to the lab to make them. Now, that's my claim to fame. So in other words, not that the other vitamins are bad, but mine are Rolls Royce. They are. So when someone gets my stuff, whether they order online or we're doing it through because of their blood tests, whatever it is they're not made until I put an email through to have them made. So that means if you ordered vitamins today, they're not on the shelf waiting to be shipped out. They're not even made yet. And that's why they're so potent. Yeah. That's why I do that.
I've never even heard of this. Amazing.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
That's great.
And what's the blood test? Is it a particular type?
Well, here's what I figured. I'll explain it this way. There's a lot of people out there who do microscopy. I think most of them are phonies, and I'll explain why. Often, first of all, they do it in the back of health food stores for $60 and using a crappy microscope. And they'll take your blood and they'll say, here, take this vitamin. And then, wow, a minute later, your blood changed. See what that vitamin did? You need to buy that vitamin. That's bullcrap. It would have changed if you drank a glass of water. It wouldn't matter. And so what happens is, I believe in this. I'll use my own mother as an example. Last year, my mom calls me up, tells me that the doctor's office called, and she has cancer. And the answer was, oh, you have cancer, come in the office, we could talk about it. So, again, terrible bedside manner once again. And Emily called my blood lady, and she says, don't panic, because we had done my mom's blood a month before. And she said, and I quote, I don't care what the doctor says, what his degrees are. She doesn't have cancer. I relayed to my mother. I actually think she believed me. Okay. She gets there. They tell her she has cancer. They guarantee it. My mom's friend's daughter lives a few houses away from her. She's an administrator for the lab. Okay. She tells me, Joe, we did the microscope. We sent it to Albany, all these other things. We guarantee we're right. And I said to her, Diane, when I come here in June, okay, you're going to hate me, and I'm okay with that. I guarantee you'll be wrong. I can guarantee it. And I can hear her sighing on the phone go, oh, my God, here he goes again, changing the world. Anyway, I started calculating things in my head. Think about this, guys. When you go to LabCorp or a doctor's office anywhere and get blood drawn, we've all done it. The person who does blood work, how many people's blood samples do you think they see a day? Let's throw a number out.
What's that?
50.
How many, Cindy, how many, if someone goes to a hospital or a lab and they get their blood drawn, how many people's blood do you think a lab tech looks at a day? Anywhere in the country? How many?
No idea.
At least 100? Logically on a 7-hour shift?
Yeah, I said 50, but certainly 100.
Oh, okay, and let's say 50. Someone told me probably 200, but okay, let's say 50. If you're an accountant and you work on 50 people's tax returns a day, are you gonna mess up? You think on some of the math? What do you think?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. Someone's gonna get their blood messed up. Okay. And they ran my mother's blood again. Okay. Again, came back with a cancer. I fly in June. I take my mom to the oncologist in Staten Island, where she's from. He stands there with a sourpuss face, and I know he wanted to punch me. And he goes, "Your mom does not have cancer at this time." I go, "Sir, she never had it." So to me, that test is invalid, what they do.
I got you.
So my thought is this. Now check this out, guys. There are people who do radiation and chemo who are cancer-free, right?
Yeah.
There are some.
Yeah,
I would
it's
bet
called
you
placebo effect. It's called placebo effect. That's how they make
Right.
it.
Right. So I bet you at least 20% of those people never had it like my mother. So
Oh, that's
my
crazy.
mother would have done radiation and chemo out of fear if I wasn't her son.
Hey, I know.
Okay? And that's the craziness. So what my blood lady does is phenomenal. She spends an hour under a microscope per person. Nobody does that. Nobody.
Okay.
No microscopist I know does that but her. This is a full-time profession, not part-time. And she has a very powerful microscope. I trust her more than anyone. So that's what I go by. And when someone hires me, that's the first thing they do. And if they say, "Well, I want to do blood my own way," I'll say, "Sir or ma'am, please go somewhere else. I'm not for you. Have a good day." I'm too busy. I can't. I'm not going to argue with them. I won't.
Now, let me ask you, do we have any callers there with a question? Just somebody had written in that we had a question or a caller. Do we have anybody? I may be wrong on this one. Vincent?
Well, ask all you want, please.
While we're sorting that out, can you tell us where your healing center is?
I can. It's in the beautiful, clean air of Albuquerque, New Mexico.
Oh, fabulous.
Yeah, and when you stay here, you stay a beautiful retreat, organic sheets, the whole 9 yards. We make sure it's a very nice time. And we do a lot here. We do.
Wow, I want to move in and I'm not sick. It sounds gorgeous.
Yeah, it is. So it's very, very exciting, what we're doing here. So very, very exciting. And I'm happy that I'm doing it my way. And that means a lot because I can kind of tweak things the way I want them to. And
of your contact websites, blah, blah.
Well, it's top secret now. I'll give it. It's fine. Well, the website's changing. You can go to www.Casper, that's K-A-S-P-E-R, CasperInstitute.com. Again, CasperInstitute.com.
Thank you. And there they can find out more about your healing center and information and pricing.
Well, yeah, everything is customized. Let me give you the phone number to the place as well. 877-347-7839. Again, 877-347-7839.
Wonderful. And we can post that too, on our website. If somebody didn't have a chance to get to their cell phone or a pen and paper and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I guess I don't think I had a question. Some people actually call in and it looks like they that means we figure they want questions, but they just call them to listen to this show. Did you know that, Cynthia? Like, if they live far away from a computer, they can just call that number and hear the whole show. So we got people doing that. So welcome, folks. Glad that's a real fan. Somebody that actually, calls in on their cell phone to listen to a show.
That's wonderful.
And I hope it's not one of my crazy stalkers.
Also, you can listen to us on iTunes and YouTube, and what was the other one that I don't know anything about? Upload or something like that. That's all on the fabulous UCY TV site, and on the their Facebook page there, they give all the information of the different ways that you can listen. But those of you who are like calling in on their cell phone just to listen, thank you so much. We really appreciate it.
So your main MO basically is just to help people become better. And you have such a vast range of mind, body, soul experience in life and schooling that you're able to sort of address each and every individual. Am I picking that up correctly?
Absolutely right. So in other words, from an athletic injury I could fix to a person who has cancer and work within nutrition and supplements. Absolutely, yes. I am very diverse and degreed as well, which helps. And sometimes degrees don't matter, but I have them, so why not use them? I'd be a fool not to. So yeah, that's true. That's true. But in this world, it's hard to be a master of everything because nobody is a master of everything. It's impossible.
Yeah, you can be a jack of all trades, master of one, maybe.
Yeah, exactly. Absolutely. Well, and it's good that way because we're all focused in our different areas. That's why Ian and I have this like monster team that's growing and growing and growing, for the different people who come to us for help. And, it depends on where they are and what frequency they're on and what they're going to respond to. And, I just have to, compliment Ian because I got more into the frequency work and the energy work of disease. And, he and we kind of hadn't talked in a few years. This was a while ago. And then I talked to him again and he knew more about like the outside things, like the juicing and the products and whatnot. He knew more than I did by this time. Mm-hmm. So, a lot of times I would, call Ian up and go, okay, what do we got for this? Or what do we got for that? And Ian's constantly studying and constantly keeping up on so many things, that I actually call him my alternative medicine pharmacist.
No, that's good. Now, it's funny, interesting about all these detox programs now. There are people out there who do these detox and 21-day juice fasts and all these things, and those fail too because they don't clean up their blood. And see, that's the funny thing is you can do all the great nutrition you want, Ian and Cindy, but guess what? If your blood is dirty, you cannot assimilate the nutrition or the supplement, and that's a big thing. Well, that's what we do with the microscope. We find out what's going on. How do we fix it? Everyone's different, so you use certain supplements to clean the body. In other words, there are people who have, toxic livers and dirty thyroid. You got to clean it out with certain kind of supplements, whether you're using a polysaccharide peptide or you're using colonics or whatever you're doing, you have to clean it up first. But the problem is that people go, I go on this juice fast. And I've had at least 5 people call me up and they go, I feel great. I go, yeah, call me in 2 weeks. They're feeling horrible, which I knew would happen because they have no basis. They're just, I heard this is good. My friend did this and lost this weight, whatever nonsense. So they feel good when they're doing it, and I go, well, what happens when you gain the weight back? And they're gonna. See, I don't want to label myself a weight loss coach because I'm not. If someone says, I want to lose 50 pounds, that's all I want, go somewhere else. I'm not for you. Because you will gain the weight back. You will gain it back, and whether it's a year or whatever, you'll gain it back. And then you're back to square one again. And they don't care. People are in for instant gratification. So it's funny that I know someone, they go, we're completely gluten-free. Great, what happens when you go back to gluten? We didn't think of that. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? And we'll introduce it slowly. So you mean, so the person will get fat slower. Okay, great. So they don't have a plan, but they're just trying things. Yeah. Until I believe the blood never lies. I'm so convinced that this blood thing we do is phenomenal that to me there's nothing better. Nothing better. And you can go to the fanciest retreat. I don't really care. And they can tell you that you're deficient in all this and take all these things. You have to do things that are going to work with you and find out what the problem is.
Yeah, I can tell everything you have here. I've got a guy that's volunteering for me right now. His name is Raul Rodriguez, and he rehabs the Lakers, and he's got a ton of initials behind it. You know, he's educated like you. And he's got me on like a 22-minute workout, and he fixes.
Wait. No, hold on a second. Did you say the 22-minute workout?
All right. I don't want to say that because maybe you coined.
No, you know why? Because I invented that. I own 22minuteworkout.com.
Okay, yeah. No, okay. Let me rephrase then. Let me just say less is more. That's how I know you're good, because he knows this, and I'm surprised you know this because he works with the Lakers. Okay, this guy's big time, and you know this, that less is more, because I always thought a 2-hour workout in the gym was the only way to go. He's got me down literally like something like that, 21, 22 minutes. So I'm just giving you validation by looking at your website. It's like, wow, this. No,
it's funny, but I was wondering, like, listen, some of the proteins do have my DVD. It's kind of funny, so I wouldn't be surprised. It's funny.
Okay, yes, but Now, do people with diseases ever come to you, or just people trying to stay healthy?
No, mainly people who are ill. In fact, when we do people's blood, everyone's ill. There's nobody who's perfectly clean. So, in other words, no one comes here with the perfect blood. Nobody.
Right.
No, nobody. So we always find something. So it's it's all.
Do you find yourself cancer coaching a lot? Do you have to work with cancer people?
Yeah, I do. I do find that happening a lot. Yep, I do.
Especially now, right?
Yep.
It's so fascinating. I'm loving this interview because exactly everything that you were doing is kind of what I did for myself, and having the way I had my blood looked at. And I totally agree that the blood doesn't lie. Even like, everybody teases me because I put my animals on a similar regimen just for anti-aging purposes, and my cat lived to be 27 and my little chihuahua lived to be 22, and I would have.
Say again, your chihuahua lived to be 22?
Yeah.
What animal lived to be 27?
My cat, Midnight. Actually, you.
Wow.
I know, that is worth a double take, isn't it? What's that?
Wow, that's amazing.
A couple of questions for Dr. Joe Kasper.
Yeah.
What kind of blood tests are done specifically? And J. Cynthia, are you referring to Rife about the frequency? And that's from Julie.
Are you talking about microscopy? Well, we do live and dry. Believe it or not, my lady gets a phenomenal read with the dry kit, which people can't believe. She's that good. So most of the clients, actually, we send them the kits, and then they do. She goes over the phone. We have a video how to do it. Very simple. I'm pricking the finger, and they send the blood back to us. So we have got so many great results that way. Was that the question? Like, how do we do it? Was that it?
Yeah, right on. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Okay. And we got
go ahead.
We got about a minute left, so go ahead.
Well, yeah, whoever had the question about the frequency work, yes, Rife technology is a part of it, but I'm talking about an even higher frequency, and you can contact me, cause I'm looking at the time as well. So if you want to, you can contact me through iCureCancer.com or my Facebook, J. Cynthia Brooks, House of Healing, or sometimes it's House of Healing, J. Cynthia Brooks, and I'm more than happy to address, cause there's no quick answer for the frequency work that I'm involved in. And with my animals, after I healed myself of cancer, then for a long time, my attention went to life extension.
Okay, folks, that music means we are.
I guess we can cut off the show.
Yeah, thank you, Dr. Joe Kasper, very much. It's Fire Your Diet. Fire Your Diet.
I believe in angels.
Thank you.
And I believe in you. I believe in the simple things and everything you do. I believe in the heavens above, and I